Welcome back. All right, so moving on from yesterday. Got the cross member cut out. Now the engine tranny can get in there. Got a hodgepodge mess cut in the firewall right now, just so this transmission can slide in there. And hopefully we can figure out where it's got to go. Cut the end of the steering column off so that I could pull that out of the way. So everything's out of the way. Engine. I got the engine and tranny mounted together. It's just held on there with the transit is just held to the engine with 2 bolts. So these are the the S10 mounts that I had. I got them on either eBay or Amazon, one of the two. So what I think I'm going to do, I have 2 options. I can either cut this off of it and then weld right to that mount. Or when I did the Sonoma, I had made these horrific plates out of 1/4-inch steel and the plasma cutter. And what I could do is I can just bolt these on there and then be able to swap mounts if I need to, or if I wanted to put say a small block Chevy or a big block Chevy in there. These are pretty much identical to the S10 frame. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, bolt them on there, and from that I can take and weld a tube to this and then a tube to the boxing plate on the frame, hopefully, and that should solve any future issues, because then I can swap engines if I really felt it necessary. Probably never going to happen, but the option is there. So we're going to go ahead and stick this in here, and I think I'll do a quick time lapse on that. Sorry again, I don't have any music to go along with the time lapse, so apologize for that. All right, so we have engine placed. No, it's not in there solid yet. Haven't got that done. We're on some 2x4s and some jacks. So, but that looks like that's where it's going to end up living. I had to make sure I had room for the power steering pump and everything. That was a big deal to have clearance for that, and quite a ways off the frame. Steering's going to be a disaster to try and do that. Might have to make headers for it because it doesn't look like even the stock ones will fit in there. They go right at the frame, and I'm not going to notch the frame for exhaust. So maybe we'll make up some fender exit headers. I don't know. We'll look into that when we get it. But I think I'm going to go ahead and take and get these mounted now, so we're not horribly far back from where we were with the S10 mounts. Hopefully you can see that here, but we are going to have to take and make something happen here. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this yet. I might just take and cut these mounts and do a tube from down there to up here. Got a couple of bends laying around here, so we can do that. One of the unfortunate things that I'm noticing right now is that with the height of the transmission, the floor is going to have to get notched out right through the center of the seat. And that means this is going to probably have to get notched out, which holds the cab mount. We'll have to see after I get the rear end under there. But it's not looking good. And the reason I'm saying that is because the drive shaft I have in this tube is what's going in here. And that was made for the S10. Well, the S10 is now gone. That's a long story. A couple weeks ago, actually I think it was a week ago today, I hauled it out. Did all the finish welding on the cage, and I crawled underneath and rubbed along the frame where before the frame was fine, and now it has a big hole. So I just gave up. I'm not going to patch that frame. So that being said, that is a drive shaft that's going in here. That is a 5-inch drive shaft. All right. Let's go ahead and see what I can do for plates on this and get it mounted. All right, hinge mounts are in. So we got that one in, that one in. Transmission is not yet mounted. So we're fairly close to center. It's a little higher than I wanted it to be, but it needed clearance and whatnot. So it's tacked. What I ended up doing is just welding a piece of tube right to the mount. Not really much of a choice that I had there. So once I get the engine and transmission back out, I'll go ahead and cut the ears off and give it a little bit more room. Plenty of serviceability clearance in there. So, and I did have an S10 header laying around here that actually fit on, it's laying over there on the tire, that actually fit on the passenger side. So maybe we'll get lucky and be able to maneuver stuff around. So here's this big massive 5-inch drive shaft, and lo and behold, it's going to do exactly what I figured it would do. And I'm going to have to take and cut out that cross member, unfortunately. So I'll have to go around that, and probably going to have to take out some of the floor too. But I got to try and figure out how to get underneath and make a transmission mount. I figured I'd use this. It was a practice piece of tubing I used for the #1 tube on my cage that's not together anymore. So I got to get the transmission mount made and figure that out and go from there. That's where we're at right now. This is going actually fairly well. We will be ending up doing a firewall mounted master cylinder. I don't think there's a way around that right now. Don't think there's room down there, but it's fine. It is. It really is. All right, let's keep going. All right, I've started moving stuff around, making a mess, cleaning out back here. The reason I'm doing this is I cut plates for the transmission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the frame. I'll put these on here, drill holes, weld nuts on the back, use that to mount the transmission. But instead of crawling my butt underneath there again and trying to do it underneath, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the cab and slide her back, get it out of my way so I can get the transmission mounted. Then when that's mounted, then I can go ahead and start moving on to the leaf springs, getting them off of here, and then slide that rear end underneath to right about there, and figure out where I need to chop cut right there on that mount. Get that out of the way. I'll figure out a way to box it in somehow. I'll do something. I don't know. Then I gotta also make new cab mounts on the frame instead, which is what it is. I think the later model ones had the cab mounts on the frame anyway. I think they had wood spacers or rubber spacers or something, which is fine, no big deal. But that's where I'm at right now. So I'm gonna take the cab, move the cab back. Yeah, it'll be fine. Move the cab back so I can get the transmission mount done. Then when that's done, then I can remove the engine and transmission and fully weld it all. Then go back and put it back together and cut stuff. Yep. Alrighty, so here's where we're at. Transmission crossmember is tacked in place. We got a plate down here. That is actually bolted to the transmission right now, welded to the cross member. The plate is tack welded to the frame. This plate, the mount for the cross member, is tack welded to the frame mount. And then I got some fairly solid welds on both sides already. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna blow this all off in hopefully one section, take it out, I'll smooth out these welds and see if I can break them out. They're just tacks. Then I'm going to drill in here, hopefully 4 bolt holes, and then I'm going to weld a nut on the back side, on both sides, and then I'm going to make some supports from the tube down to the side to strengthen that mount there, and get that all done. And then I'll get that back in place. Then I'll probably end up pulling the motor and transmission. I don't know if I'll do it right now or not, but I gotta get the cab out of the way so I can clearance for the drive shaft. And then I gotta get the leaf springs out, get all this mess cleaned out of here so I can wheel the rear end in and get that set in place. But that's where I'm going to leave off on this video for right now. I'm going to keep working, keep doing what I got to do to get this done and taken care of. Appreciate your time, appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and have yourself a great day. We'll catch you later.